America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. Right. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
And once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the chain.
It has nothing to do with the American people.
Nothing.
It is all about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that collaboration, our team has reached out directly and indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world in 2022 and 2021. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And let's talk about it. It is Saturday night, September 30th, the last day in September. The last day in September. Like, time is flying, but you know what? Weather in Toronto, like, we're going to be getting up to 80 degrees over the next few days. We haven't had any measurable rain for at least a week and a half, but the days have been like 70, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, no humidity, little breeze. You know, you get up in the morning, it's a little breezy, but it's nice to have no humidity. It is a lovely thing to have no humidity. But it's State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. And before we bring Lala and Aisha up, and Jill's not with us tonight, and also just a shout out to Jill. Jill's cat is going through a very challenging time, and if you follow her on Instagram, she posted a very emotional video about her cat this week, and Jill was in tears. It really was touching. She was in tears. So I just want to, my Aisha, Lala, myself, and anyone else, we're praying for the best of the cat and Jill and the family with this. All right. So before we get Aisha and Lala up, first things, please subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. If you haven't, please do if you're up for it. Follow the Dr. Vibe Show on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, join the State of Things Discord group. Lots of stuff going on in that little chat room. I see people are jumping in. Thank you. God, tell us where you're chiming in from. Say hello. And also to advertise your business, service, or product on any of the Dr. Vibe Show platforms, please email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. So with the preliminaries all done, let's bring up Aisha and Lala. What's going on? You guys are on mute.
Oh.
Okay, that's better.
Hey.
What's up?
Howdy. How'd things go with you?
I asked you guys first.
Well,
it's
how was
great.
last week's show? Because I didn't get to see last week's show.
Well,
it was your birthday.
Yeah, my plans got derailed. We were supposed to go to Rhode Island to this restaurant that's on the beach, have lobster rolls, chill, whatever. And it poured rain all day.
Oh, Aisha.
So I did end up going to my mom's house, and there's a restaurant where my mom lives that we like, and they delivered the lobster rolls. But even so, I was just so disappointed because I'm only an hour away from Providence. So, yeah.
Oh, that sucks. But it's still, you still had a good time with your family, though, right?
I did. My mom and my sister made me Prince cupcakes.
Oh my God.
No pictures?
No, oh no, I didn't take pictures, but
Oh,
no.
come
When she
on.
just realized that too, she was like, no.
Well, though it was a last minute thing because they were trying to get a cake for me, and I was like, I don't want a cake. I'm not a big fan of an actual cake. I prefer cupcakes. I was like, no, just make me cupcakes. And so when I got there, they had the little things that they made that stick in the cupcake that had the symbol in purple and white. So it was nice.
You know what I really love too? Like you were saying, cupcakes. At my niece's wedding, they served cupcakes to all of us that were absolutely beautiful. And then they just had their little cake topper for them to cut the cake. I just think that's a lot nicer. You know, people can serve themselves. So you don't have all that extra cake. I love cupcakes.
Yeah. I always loved them. Yellow ones with chocolate frosting. So
Now I want cupcake.
So today it was a very interesting dichotomy day for me. I was doing some cutting with an electric battery cord-free electric chainsaw, and I clipped my fingers here. Ooh. And I was bleeding for 10 minutes, blood. Oh my God. blood. And I said, is this going to stop? And I said, but finally I made it to a pharmacy and was able to get some, what's it, sporin? What's it called? I can't remember.
Oh, Neosporin.
Neosporin, and I put on that. So if you, I don't think you'll see my fingers, folks. So if you do, they're taped up, but everything's okay now. But on the other hand, for the first time in my existence, I made veggie burgers from scratch.
Oh, really?
You did. Were they bean burgers?
So the recipe. Let's see if I can remember. You know what? I got my recipe. Where's my recipe book?
See, now you got to put it in the Discord.
Yeah. So, it's so for those people who watch the Morning Vibe. By the way, the Morning Vibe yesterday had some lady on that rocked the house. I don't know who that is. A lady who's in pink with glasses. You know,
it was fun.
Yeah, Aisha rocked the house on the Morning Vibe yesterday. So if you're a member of the Discord group, I shared the link for you to watch the replay, or you can go to my YouTube channel and see the Morning Vibe, September 29th. Aisha rocked the house. But about a month or so ago, I had a meeting with a nutritionist, and she made some. Yeah, she was on, and she's actually on the Morning Vibe once a month, and for one of the first things I did is I did a 3-day juice detox.
Yeah, those are great.
And it was fantastic. And now I'm slowly but surely changing my diet, like only 2 meals a day.
Okay.
Heaviest meal is lunch.
Yeah.
So I get up in the morning, 2 glasses of warm water with lemons, then 2 fruits, and then I'm really stuck right now. I love my gluten-free bread with almond butter.
Oh my gosh, I have a suggestion for almond butter. I do, but I'll put it in the Discord.
Yeah, but yeah. I'll put the recipe for the veggie burgers because it was I may miss 1 or 2 things, but I'll put the recipe in. So you get some chickpeas, you make them soak in water overnight. Then what you do is you take them out, rinse off the water, then put them in a blender with a cup of water. And then what you do, I'm trying to remember all these lovely processes. What did I do?
Are you trying to go vegan?
It looks like it's going that way. I'm gonna go plant-based. Like I'm not gonna go full, but it's certainly going that way. Actually, Divine Wright, who's in the chat, she met with Carolyn yesterday, and she said it was. And actually, I spoke with Carolyn today plug here. I'm gonna do plug here. So, my nutritionist is a lady named Carolyn Nicole. She is fantastic. She does consultations, whether online or via phone. And regularly she charges like $100 and something for a half-hour consultation. If you, I'm going to put her information here. You can get a consultation with her half an hour for $49.
Oh, that's a good price.
Well, you know, come May of next year, I'll get all my nutritional consultations free.
There you go.
Because the little one,
no, the growing one.
I know she'll be 21 in November, so she will. She's studying at UConn to be a nutritionist, so she graduates in May.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Nutritionist and dietitian, so she's going for her licensure and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do I put the water in, pour it out, and then I put it in a bowl, and then in the bowl I put a cup of oats, a cup of grated carrots, about a bunch of onions, like chopped up onions.
Yep.
And then what else? Cilantro, and salt to maybe give a little bit of a taste. Then, let it stand for about 10-15 minutes, but make sure you're stirring it.
Yeah.
And then you just put in the patties, and you put in the oven at 300. You put the patties in the oven 350 degrees for half an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Also a cup of chopped almonds or walnuts.
Yeah, and see, my daughter actually has a recipe like that. She made those back in, I want to say March, but she used black beans and walnuts because we're allergic to all the other nuts.
Right.
So, oh my God, when I say they were so good,
I
was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like for me, I said, this tastes good.
Because you buy veggie burgers from the store, and I buy them all the time because they're really quick to make, but they just don't have that same kind of flavor as when you make them homemade.
Yeah. So just we got some shout outs here. So Divine Red says, good evening from the DMV area. We're in the last quarter of the year. Let's make it great. Yes. She also says, sending love to Jill. Divine Wright says, you rocked it yesterday, Aisha. Oh, yes. And look at this, Divine Wright. I'm about to work on the 3 to 5 day cleanse. Carolyn is the truth. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. What else do we got? She also said, sending love to Jill. Black Beauty's in the house. Greetings, everyone, tonight for Ashley's struggles and Jill and her husband in comforting Alice. Ashley, that's Jill's cat's name. Okay. And then Wig Maniac, hello. Some do one meal a day. I'm not going to go to that, but I would say my biggest meal is lunch now. And before I have my lunch, I always start my lunch with a salad. And in between, water. And
lots of water.
Yeah. And dinner time is like a herbal tea or a green smoothie, which I tried. I tried that this week. I love them. I put the lettuce and then some almond milk and I just said, this is brilliant.
I make them with baby spinach and pineapple and banana, and it is so good. And I was a vegetarian my last couple of years of college. I can't do it now because I'm allergic to just about every fruit and vegetable you can imagine.
Oh, wow.
Who has fruit and vegetable allergies? I mean, it's funny. I go to the doctor and they go through your list of allergies. And so I couldn't list all of the fruits and vegetables. It was like fuzzy fruits and vegetables, period.
Wow.
And sometimes it's just trial and error.
Yeah.
So we're making that change. So Divine Right says, yes, I met with her on Thursday. I'm ready. She was a true blessing. Good stuff. Yeah, actually, it was an event today, and I get so humbled. People go like, there's someone who's a regular on the morning who watches the Morning Vibe regularly says, Dr. Vibe. I go, and she said, yeah. And she goes, and she mentioned, she's going to be seeing Carolyn on Tuesday.
That's awesome.
So, so this is good. And LaLa, I'd like to thank you again for sharing this broadcast on your Facebook page.
Sure.
Appreciate that. And see, LaLa's having a glass of wine and I'm having water. So
Snapple.
There you go. And then Black Beauty says, Aisha, have you noticed how high the store brought veggies are as opposed to making them from home? Yeah.
Oh my God. It is so bad because they keep them in the freezer aisle, and you go in the freezer aisle, you get them. It's like 4 for like $12. It's astronomical.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
it is. And when you just buy the basic things,
Yeah, that's what I'm making another batch tomorrow because I got it down and like it's just I go, yeah, this is this is it, and it tastes good, man. Like if you need a little taste, you add a little bit of salt to give it a little bit of taste. Sea salt.
I'm definitely an advocate for eating home. I mean, there's so many great recipes. I mean, it's so ridiculous to eat out right now. For 2 people, it's absolutely stupid. And forget coffee. Like when hubby and I rarely go out for coffee. We usually make it at home. But when we were going to the wedding, 2 coffees and 2 muffins at Starbucks, which we don't normally go to Starbucks, $22.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would feed on the food plan I'm on right now. That would feed me for a week.
Yeah. So we looked at each other and said, yeah, that was a treat. We're not doing that again.
No, I definitely make my coffee at home because there's all different kinds of creamers. I don't do dairy, so they have all kinds of almond milk and oat milk creamers in different flavors. So that's usually what I do, and because of the amount of coffee I will drink in the morning, it's just much more cost effective to make it.
All right.
But you want to know what's interesting? I mean, I know we've got topics, but this is a really good topic to talk about.
Well,
it's like,
LaLa, don't feel bad. Our health is our wealth. So
yes, it really is. It really, really is. So when I'm in Portugal, it's a big coffee country as well.
Yes.
Guys, coffee is $1.
Wow.
$1 or less, depending. Like if you want a galao is coffee with milk. Okay. If you just want a regular coffee, the regular coffee is like 70 cents, but you get a little milk and it's $1. Woo-hoo!
But that's what it used to be in the United States. I guess you gotta go back to like 1974, the year I was born, to get that price.
Yeah.
My. So we got some more comments. Hey, what's up, Sher Knight of Ebony Occasions? Good night, all. Aisha, I hear you. I suffer from migraines. So many food triggers.
Yeah.
I've had migraines since I was 14.
Oh wow.
So since I was 14. And my daughter started getting them when she was 9.
Oh.
So Cher, join the Discord group and we could talk about the migraines.
Yeah, Cher.
There are a lot of food triggers, but one of the secrets to managing your migraines, I take medication to prevent them, and then I have a fast acting under the tongue medication when they hit. But caffeine is one of those things that if you can get to it very quickly, it will help.
Yes, that does
and
help.
You know what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, LaLa.
No, that definitely helps. And you were talking about triggers. Too much sodium will trigger my migraines, and I am out for days. And then you have the what I call the migraine hangover. For a whole week, you're thinking cloudy, and you just never know. So I'm extremely careful about sodium. But caffeine is a great trigger.
And there are so many different types of migraines. Like I get them with the aura around. So it basically everything's fuzzy around. But, I've had them for so long that at this stage, they don't build up like they normally used to. I start to feel it and I can feel it getting intense. Now they just hit me full throttle like, oh, wow, out of nowhere. Wow. And I'm like laid up on the couch for the rest of the day in the dark room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Divine Wright says, Drinking my water too, Dr. Vibe. Cheers. We're anti-jilted. Not anti-Jill.
Yes.
Anti-Jill last week and anti-LaLa today. Sher Knight
No,
says, we'll
what
do
Cher's saying right there is right. She's right. I can't take the triptans because they have so many different problems. My doctor gave me a triptan for my migraines in 2021, and I could not move my neck. I was like catatonic. And I was like, I told my doctor, I'm like, I'm not taking these again. I can't take those for that. And I can't take the benzos either.
Wow. So Cher, what I'm going to do, I'm going to DM you via your Ebony Occasions Instagram account a link so you can join the Discord group. And if you want, even you definitely, I think that'd be great to have you, because people may not know, but Cher's profession, she's a nurse. So can you imagine? That is, and Divine Wright says, yes, too much sodium, my ears hurt and I'm off balance, headaches as well too. And then Cher also says, my mom's went away with AIDS, so I am praying.
Yeah. So definitely let's connect, Cher, because like the triptans and some of those other medications, I back in 2011, I had had a migraine for 51 days. And
what?
Yeah.
Rewind. What?
51 days.
Yeah,
it lasted it varied in severity. Sometimes it'd be dull. Most of the time it was painful, but it lasted that long. And my doctor gave me, what was it? Keppra. And I started going into liver failure from it. I mean, it was to the point, I was in the hospital, it was to the point where they couldn't figure out what it was that was triggering that. And I mean, I had my friends so concerned, they were looking for a transplant for me, but it was the Keppra that put me in liver failure. And once they took me off of it and flushed it out, my numbers went normal. I was fine.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's interesting, just referring back to Carolyn Nicole of Energy Shack Juice Bar. Basically, my health numbers have improved significantly by changing my nutrition in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. So we have, and LaLa, she's way ahead of the curve. So I'm trying to catch up to her because she's like a guru on all this stuff also. But that's why you join the Discord group, folks. Because I'm gonna put some, because I have if it was near me, I have a whole binder full of recipes. Like, I mean, a whole binder full of recipes. So I'm going to start dropping different ones in. But the veggie burgers, I'm sold. I'm sold on that. So as things go, I'm going to go more into it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that Cher's a nurse. So I definitely want to connect on the Discord, because I've got one of the things I've gotten very good at, because I have such severe anemia. All my levels are always out of whack. Is being able to read my own blood panel results and knowing what's what.
Yes.
And so this past Wednesday, we took my grandfather to a hematologist, oncologist, which, people, when they hear the oncologist part, they get very afraid. I see a hematologist, oncologist. It just happens that most of the hematologists do oncology as well, and that's their specialty. But, I was able to sit there and look at his results and tell him what was what, and even pull up my own, because they're online, and just show him like, hey, this level's low for me for the anemia, so's yours. And this is what it looks like. And this is what's normal. And so, being able to interpret those results when you get them and know what they mean is very invaluable, especially when you are a person of color, because there are times when, people say, oh, you're fine. I'm like, no, I need to see this. And you see something that says, oh, this is remarkable, but they didn't tell you about it, which happened to me about 1.5 years ago. And I'm like, well, why didn't you mention this? Because this says this is not right. Oh yeah, okay. So make sure that you are an advocate for yourself and your health that way.
So I'm going to ask Aisha, do you mind if I DM? Well, Cher, I'm going to ask you, and you're watching live in the chat. Do you mind if I share share. Do you mind if I share your email address with Aisha? And Aisha, do you mind if I share Cher's email address with you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm just waiting for Cher to see if she's willing to share her. And that's not her. She has her full name is Sheraton, but she goes by Cher. Okay, so Divine Wright goes, wow. Sher Knight goes, I am so sorry. I can only imagine how brutal. And here, I didn't know it was this long. So Cher's been nursing in general medicine for 18 years. What?
Yeah.
And Cher goes, not at all. Don't mind. Please do. All right. So this is what I love. Having people with like minds and like hearts together. Fantastic. That is beautiful. All right. Oh, and one last thing. In Canada, today was National Reconciliation Day. I was wearing my Every Child's Matters.
Yes, I saw our friend of the show, Christy White, was talking about the orange shirts. Yeah. Yes.
So and some really good posts that she made. So today.
And if you haven't checked out her book, make sure you do.
It's all good. It's all good. So so we're in memory of some terrible acts. Yeah. Some really terrible acts. All right, man, we haven't started yet. We've been having a good time. Do you want to come back next week? No, we'll go keep on going. All right, let's start. Well, Aisha, I thought you'd be sick of me by now. You had your yes and you got me also today. My gosh, double for your trouble.
No, we're all good because
and also
the United States, the good old United States.
Well,
so much to talk about.
Yes, and do not be surprised, especially people who are following on YouTube, that you see Aisha on monthly on the Morning Vibe. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. All right. Speaking about the United States, here we go.
Here we go. And with that, I'll take a sip.
On the brink of federal shutdown, the House passes a 45 funding plan and sends it to the Senate.
You want to know what's in that plan?
Basically, they just kick the can down the road because all it is okay, if you're not in politics, you never worked in politics or worked for a legislature, let me tell you something about a continuing resolution. I've helped write some, and I know what they are. Continuing resolution is basically it allows the government to continue doing what it's doing the way it's doing. And when they say they want a clean bill, which is what they're talking about, it basically means no additional funding on top of what is already allotted for different services. So if, say, Joe Biden wanted to expand the child tax credit, they wouldn't allow that in a clean bill because it's not part of the budget from last year. So here we are. They just kick the can down the road. The continuing resolution is just to say, let's keep the budget as it is. So everybody gets paid for 45 days while we try and figure this out. Now, I have this penchant for quoting song lyrics in everyday conversation, but we no longer have the House of Representatives right now. What we have is Crazy House. Yes. And we all pretty much need to start looking for the purple banana because the paddy wagon is coming. It's coming for every last one of us because I'm watching this today and I felt like Sybil because it's like this. It's like pick a lane, stick to it. They wanted to, McCarthy wants to blame Democrats for, but let's be clear, if it were not for the Democrats, they would not have been able to pass the continuing resolution because 209 of the 216 Democrats voted for it. 178 Republicans did. And in this bill, in the original, their spending package, not this continuing resolution, but in the package they were trying to pass before, you have Marjorie Three Toes trying to cut the salary of the guy who's over the military Department of Defense to $1, but had the nerve and had it passed. They voted for it. They
Yes.
passed it in the House. And then when asked, she said, well, yeah, even though it passed, I'm still not going to vote for the bill anyway.
And don't forget, guys, who did they take care of in this? They
Themselves,
put in
because
they
the
were
other
going to
part,
get a raise.
they wanted to, yes, they put a raise in it. And thankfully the Democrats were like, no, we don't want the raise. But they were going to put a raise in that. And I
got called out.
And if they did that, remember last year, this time we were talking about the budget, and last year they gave themselves a raise last year.
Yeah.
What do you need one for? That raise went into effect in January.
But we need a raise.
That raise went into effect in January. And I'm sorry, but a legislative body that works probably 7 months total when you count all their recesses and breaks and things, they don't need a pay raise. What they need to do is stay in the House and work their asses off. They're not doing anything. It's like, I mean, the most irresponsible thing that could have happened was Kevin McCarthy last Thursday giving them Thursday, Friday, and Saturday off, telling them to go home when this thing was looming. That was irresponsible. And you know what? I don't like Matt Gaetz or Marjorie or Lauren Hobart. Yeah. Hobart. Yeah.
That's what you were being very nice with those names.
I don't like them, but I would not complain if they did try and get rid of McCarthy. I'm not going to outwardly support it. But you know what, though? I'm not going to cry a tear.
No, these greedy bastards serve no one. They serve no one. They are wasting the Americans' time, the regular people's time. They're only out to see what they can get in their pockets. They are media whores. They are doing absolutely everything that they can to get as much attention on them as possible. Yet we are the ones who are suffering, because the very first thing they're going to be trying to cut is Social Security and all those things. I don't know about you, but Aisha, you've got older generation grandparents. Mm-hmm. My mother-in-law is in her 80s. They need those funds. Yeah. And how dare they put the regular people in such trenches and dire needs when most people are living paycheck to paycheck and even kind of living behind paycheck to paycheck, to put them in this position in the first place, and then have the audacity to try to put some more money in their pockets. They've got to go. Got to go.
And you know, think about it this way. It wasn't just Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, Head Start. So if the Head Start program shut down and you have a 3-year-old and you are a working parent, you've got to arrange daycare for your kid just so you can go to work. And so there's nothing in any of this that's sincere or genuine or about them caring about the American people. Let's be very clear. Marjorie Taylor Greene had lunch with criminal enterprise Donald Trump, and he said, "Shut the government down." She went back to Kevin and said, "Oh, we're shutting it down. We're shutting it down." And so they're taking their marching orders from someone who no longer is a part of government.
No, it's like, and is under criminal investigation.
Donald Trump needs to be less concerned about the budget and the shutdown, and more concerned about the fact that he's on the hook for fraud for his own damn financials. Okay, so let's be very clear about all this. They want to do this, like I told you guys in the Discord channel. The cruelty is the point.
Yes,
I have never seen people who are just downright damn giddy at the prospect of making other people suffer.
Yes. And that is their whole point.
And if that's what you need to get you off, y'all better buy some toys, something, anything else other than what you're doing.
At this point, I'll send them some if they would just go away.
Frederick's of Hollywood, whatever you need to do, but this is not it. This should not be your reason for living and for being there, and just who gets happy off of other people's misery? And the other
They
part of it
do.
too, the shutdown. Here's the thing about the shutdown that should make everyone angry. If they shut it down anyway, Congress would still get their paychecks.
Yes, they do. And they've had that set up for a long time. But now, are you surprised with us just telling you that they're voting for a raise for themselves? They're going to make sure they get theirs.
You want to know what a congressional salary is? The high
too
end,
high?
176,000 plus a travel stipend, plus an additional stipend for other things that you do in your district, plus another stipend for your staff, for your security. When you do the whole package in total, it comes close to $250,000.
Don't forget what they get paid on the side by everybody who's lobbying.
And do you know what, like with any budget, if you look at any state budget or whatever, because like I said, I used to work for a legislative commission, so I used to pay attention to those all the time. In any state budget, just as in our federal government, more than 60% is just salaries.
Mm-hmm.
And who's paying all those salaries?
Who do you
It will be the people who are under $200,000 a year, because
Yes.
at that level, all of us are paying 30%. However, the people who are over 200,000, a lot of them are paying close to between 1% and 10%.
Yep.
And so, it's the poor people who are paying this. And it's as insane as the people who only have $5 left in their bank account, no food in the refrigerator, but decide to give that $5 to Donald Trump, who's a supposed billionaire,
Exactly.
to fundraise. This is ridiculous. It's wrong. They sent it back to the Senate, but I'm sorry, I don't blame the one senator from I forgot where Bennett's from. I think Bennett's from Ohio. The one senator, he is a Democrat, saying, hold up, I got issues with the Senate bill because look, we promised Ukraine funding. This is for our safety, and you want to pull it out and wait 45 days and see what happens. I don't begrudge him that, because the truth is that this is all national news, not just national news. This is global news that we're having these fights about our budget and protecting our country. And if Putin even sees this, which he's watching and knows that, oh, they're going to stall for 45 days giving Ukraine money, it gives him an edge in that fight. So I don't blame Mike Bennett for being the one lone Democratic voice in the Senate to object to the bill. However, the bill is going to pass. But 45 days, again, they have 45 days in which to come up with an actual budget for the entire year. If they couldn't do it between January, they knew they had to do this by now. If they couldn't do it between January and September, what the hell makes them think they're going to do it in 45 days?
Like what's going to change?
There you go. That's it right there in a nutshell.
What's going to change? You know what's going to change? Scott Hall and some other people in Fulton County are going to flip. That's what's going to change.
We're going to get to that. Hold it off.
It's
kind of hard not to.
That's what's going to change, that or slap a gag order. But I mean, there's no good reason as to why.
Why does this keep on happening every few months?
Well, first of all,
because we are run by idiots.
Well, also too, it doesn't make sense for us to have a budget that you have to do year to year to year to year to year, and then half the time they're spending trying to balance the budget, because we have that budget balancing mandate. But if we were smart, we would just, and we had the votes, we go into the House and the Senate and pass a 2-year spending bill. So we don't do this every
that's not going to happen.
Because it's not going to happen, but the 2 years makes sense. Why does it make sense? Because House term is 2 years. Every 2 years they're running for office. So the 2 years makes sense. Certain states do it with their governors. They know a governor is going to be there for 4 years. They do, like Connecticut, we do a 2-year budget with the state for our governors. So it doesn't make sense as to why, because when you look at Congress, what the hell are they doing? They have 2 jobs: running for Congress again, and passing the budget.
And arguing on the floor. That's it.
And you know what? Me personally, I'm a fan of Lil' Kim. And like her, I believe in money, power, respect. First you get the money, then you get the power, and then the mother effers will respect you. However, however, we have the strings of the purse of this country in the hands of people who are right now in a psychotic state.
Basically, it's being held hostage.
Look, let me tell you something. You have surgery, you go to the hospital, they put you under anesthesia. What's the first thing they tell you to do? They tell you, don't make any decisions, don't sign anything, don't make any contracts. Guess what? We have a Congress that they are perpetually in surgical, in surgery with anesthesia because they're making decisions. They're making decisions when the majority of them are insane.
Yeah.
They're insane. I mean,
If anybody acted like this outside of the floor, someone would call the paddy wagon.
Exactly. That's why I said
somebody would want to put them in the cook house.
Yes. Yes. Because there is like the dysfunction. We have one political party that is a dysfunctional family. Okay. But their dysfunction is seeping into everybody's lives. We all got our own families with dysfunction. We don't need theirs. We don't need their mess. It's just like, do your job, run for Congress, pass the budget. That's it.
You would think that would be simple, but no, they're too busy trying to make sure that they're taking care of their own. They're just as crooked as the day's long, as my mother used to say. I mean, it just is. I'm tired. I'm absolutely exhausted with trying to keep up with what's going on. And the fact is, they feed us so much bullshit on everything from the time that you wake up, from the time you go to sleep, and even in your dreams sometimes you're hearing about the nightmares that are happening in America. But when you shut that off and maybe you're visiting another country, you see how the rest of the world is looking at this, and they truly believe that we're nuts.
Yeah.
They absolutely think we're nuts.
And the worst part about this is it didn't have to come to this.
No, It did not.
Because Kevin McCarthy and Joe Biden already had, and Mitch McConnell and Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries already had a deal.
Yes.
They had a deal for the continuing resolution. They had a deal for the budget. And what happened? The Freedom Caucus, not even his whole caucus are all the Republicans, but they've got their smaller caucuses. The Freedom Caucus, which is comprised of about probably 14 people, said, "Oh, we're going to take your job."
Yeah.
They said that to Kevin, so Kevin's like, no. And not only that, but what did they spend all their time doing on Thursday when they should have been working on this? They were doing an impeachment inquiry hearing,
which was a waste of time.
And we'll get to that later on also. All right.
They spent all day doing that when they should have been
taking care of the American people.
When they should have been in the full house on the floor debating whatever it was that they needed to debate on, because they wasted an entire day. And now here they are on a Saturday, 9:43 p.m. Eastern time in DC, and they're still trying to figure this out.
LaLa, anything you want to add to this segment of the conversation?
No, it's just that I wish we had things in place. This is what bothers me. We talk every week about how these people are holding American people hostage for their own benefit. I am extremely sick of allowing them to do this. We need term limits, but are we going to get term limits? No, because they're the ones who has to vote for it. And who in their right mind is going to vote against themselves? Not they, said I.
But you know, though, LaLa, the crazy part is Ted Cruz and AOC introduced legislation together for term limits. Ted Cruz believes in term limits, someone you wouldn't expect.
Exactly.
Yes.
But you're never going to let the majority is not going to pass that. They like to put smoke mirrors up. That's what I say, smoke and mirrors. You never, they like to pretend like they're going to do something, but they're not doing anything. And the point is, our country is at high jeopardy for everything. Our inflation is through the roof. Lies are being believed by zombies and cronies. The things that Trump says out of his mouth and the people who follow him in Congress and Senate reiterate and parrot exactly everything that he says. If he says the sky is blue, then they come back and scream that the sky is, blue or green or whatever it is that day. And what is most frightening? What is most frightening, guys, is we've had people vote for these people to be in these positions. Mm-hmm. So when you're hearing Trump and you're hearing Three Toes out there hollering and bobblehead Boebert out there doing her little nastiness in the theater in front of the public, you have people when they are speaking that are doing this. And this is the thing that bothers me the most. You hear them, and they make us sick. Oh, the water is dried up. Those are the people that I'm afraid of, because they're the ones who are fueling the fire.
A pink unicorn can do a better job in Congress than the Republican Party is doing right now at this point.
But you still have people who are zombies and will be that cult that continues to follow them. That's what's most frightening.
Because they don't
care. And one thing I don't like is they keep saying over and over and over, Trump is the front runner. You are talking about someone who has been indicted. And now you're telling me that's our front runner?
91 counts. And the sad part about it is that when you look at the pool of people who are running against him, not one of them is trying to run to be the president. Exactly. They're running for whatever. I don't understand why DeSantis is even in there at this point. Nikki Haley just wants to take Kamala Harris's place as VP.
Exactly.
And I'm going to tell you this from having worked in South Carolina, that was always her goal.
Yeah.
Period. Going back to 2006, that was always her goal. But then, I don't. If not Donald Trump, then who on their end? Because there
is no one viable.
The cult is not, it's not, and we have to be careful about our language. I hate when people say, oh, not all Republicans. The hell it isn't. The regular Republicans that we know before don't exist. MAGA Republicans are the party. That is the majority of them. And even if there are Republicans in the House who consider themselves moderate, if Donald Trump says jump, they're on their way out the window. They're jumping out the window.
I'll talk about that next, because I know that's a topic, but this also leads into not only term limits, but you have got to be mentally viable to do this job. We have a lot of people who are not mentally viable.
All right, let's, as we say, segue time. So let's, Divine Wright has a few comments here. When my son was younger, he was in Head Start, and we always prayed that it wouldn't be shut down.
Wait, before you do that, one of my favorite episodes of Good Times, I love Good Times, is the one where they're going to shut down the daycare, and Gary Coleman was on the episode. He's a little kid, and he's telling them that they're going to shut it down. And so they have a talent show to have to raise the money. Communities should not have to do that when there is a federal obligation on the books for the government to fund it.
Exactly. Right. But you look at how far that goes back. It was an issue then.
That was 1978. Yeah.
Okay. She also says they don't even think about the federal workers who would be out of work. It's a disgrace. And segueing into our next conversation topic, Donna says, yes, for term limits, many have been in way, way too long. So that brings us to our next conversation piece. And when Aisha was on Friday, I think, did you say this while you were on?
It happened while we were on air. The
Morning Vibe.
Right, the TVs to my left. They ran the Chiron with Diane Feinstein dying at 90.
So talk about Diane Feinstein dying, and also the term limits, aging U.S. Senate.
Right. So understand, Diane Feinstein got her start as she worked on the city council, San Francisco, at the time when Harvey Milk and the other person that was like top with him were assassinated. Their assassination occurred right around the time that the they lost a House member who was killed at Jonestown. So all this stuff was pretty much connected. And she was the next in line, and she became mayor. And then from mayor, she got into federal politics. And she's the longest serving woman in the Senate. You know, more power to her. But come on now. Come on. They knew this was happening. It's Ruth Bader Ginsburg all over again.
Yeah, all over.
Yeah, thankfully, Gavin Newsom is a Democrat, and he can appoint someone, which we believe is going to be Karen Bass. Not Karen Bass.
No, not Karen Bass.
No, I forgot the other one.
Karen Bass.
No. The woman that's running for the Senate seat in the first place, a Black woman who's running against Adam Schiff and Katie Porter. But he's going to appoint someone there for that seat. And you know, of course, you sit yesterday and watch all the little tributes. Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell gave
any tribute.
Oh yeah, I was watching C-SPAN. They were all talking about her in the Senate. I gotta tell you this. When someone dies in either chamber of Congress, they put a black cloak over their desk and white flowers. And Mitch McConnell was up there talking, and I was just kind of like,
"Oh God,
is he gonna freeze?" because no, I was like, if he freezes, like I told you all, he sees the Grim Reaper. I was thinking if he freezes right now while he's talking about her, it's gonna be because Diane Feinstein's ghost is there and pointing at him like you're next.
Right.
But Chuck,
that sounds funny, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and the average age of our Senate is like 70.
Yeah, so what's the big deal about everybody hollering about the president's age? Screw you.
Trump is only 3 years younger. Trump is 3 years younger. Couldn't remember that he didn't run against Barack Obama. Couldn't remember that World War II happened in the 40s. And he also thought that you have to use voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. If that is if that's someone who's not mentally fit, and they had to give this man a cognitive assessment, man, woman, camera, dog, and they told him it was an IQ test when they were trying to just assess his mental capacity. Joe Biden might stumble on his words, but let's be clear. The reason he does isn't because he's old. It's because he's had a stutter since he was a kid.
He has a stutter.
He's a stutter.
And nobody wants to talk about that.
Nobody wants to talk about that. Joe Biden fell off his bike. Guess what? Do you know how many times I fall down the stairs walking down to my car?
Let me tell you, I had a fall this week. All right.
Exactly. I'm like, look, you look at my medical chart on the bottom of the medical chart in red, it says fall risk. Okay. So it's not the age. At least Joe Biden doesn't need to hold a cup with two hands like it's a baby sippy cup, the way that Trump did.
But here's another thing, guys. With all this mess that is going on, constantly swirling, constantly negative, constantly everything, no one is saying what is actually happening in the White House. Biden has done a lot of good things. Now, do I agree with a lot of, every president 100%? No, I do not. I didn't even agree with Obama 100%. Okay. But the fact is, everything that he is doing is being overshadowed or because of the madness of this madman who is orange with this ridiculousness, talking about how whales are being beached in South Carolina when he knew nothing about that, guys. He kept saying every week, whales are being beached. Oh my God, I got to check into it. And guess what the article really was about? Windmills in Wales. Not whales in the ocean, windmills in Wales. So when he was in Anaheim.
Please tell me you're joking.
No. When he was in Anaheim, that was his speech.
There, okay? What do you expect from him?
That was his speech. And what did I tell you? What did I tell you earlier? This was the response. This is in Anaheim. Anaheim is Orange County. Orange County is Republican.
For someone who lived in South Carolina, there really is only one beach, main beach, where you would find that happening, and that's Myrtle Beach. And if my daddy didn't call me from South Carolina to tell me that whales are being beached, it didn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
My father calls me just to tell me it's 90 degrees in South Carolina. So I promise you, if there was something like that going on, he would have called to tell me. It didn't happen. Trump, but the bigger part of that is it's like when he was president. Remember, he does not read. He wouldn't even read his own freaking presidential daily report. So he reads headlines.
Because he was too busy on this shit or tweeting. That's all he did, is sit on the crapper all day and tweet ridiculousness, just like he does now. He's fucking senile. I'm sick to death of his name. I'm ready for him to be gone. Since he's calling for people's head and asking for people to be murdered and telling people that, when I get in office, if you rob something, we're just going to give the authority to shoot you. This man is obsessed with killing people and reverse racism. How the fuck is a reverse racism? Excuse me. You are talking to only white people, letting them know that you are going to give them all the power. I'm sick of him. He must go. He's a criminal. And I'm hoping and praying that I will see that in my lifetime. Either he's got to go. I hope the Grim Reaper comes. Since he's calling on everybody, I need the Grim Reaper to do his job. Because this man is a danger to our country and has been for a very long time.
But I don't wish death on people. But
I didn't say that. I said the Grim Reaper.
No. But this is my comments. I agree with you. I'm pretty mad at cheeseburgers right now because they're not doing their job. Okay, their job is to clog arteries. Why is that man still walking without clogged arteries? I don't like that. Why? A man who hasn't seen a green vegetable in 30 years should not still be standing upright. And I do not understand it. Why can't he just go away? And that's part of the problem. Yes, we have an aging Senate. We have all this, but the news media has got to stop normalizing crazy.
But they've done it.
This is not normal. This is not normal. And if you're going to sit there and talk, all you can think about is Donald Trump had major losses all week long, week before that. And the thing that they want to talk about is that Joe Biden wore sneakers.
God forbid. Don't forget the tan suit.
Look, he should really get rid of his vice president. And Democrats, y'all about to piss me off. Y'all leave Kamala alone. It's like, why?
They've never liked her.
No, they don't. She's not the problem. But, like your slip and your hemlines, your racism is showing. And
look at what all they said about Michelle Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Called her everything under the sun. They don't like and don't care for Black women. And if they had their choice, they'd have us right back on those slave plantations, being mammy and wet nurses to their children.
Right.
That's what they see us as being.
Look, Nikki Haley has a serious hard-on for Kamala Harris because Kamala Harris is not only the first Black woman vice president, she's also the first Southeast Asian, and that was supposed to be hers, right? But
exactly,
this thing with the aging, you have Mitch McConnell freezing every other day. Chuck Grassley is running again, and when his next term is over, he will be 96.
That's not okay.
That's not okay. Who else? When they were doing their tributes to Diane Feinstein on the Senate floor yesterday, I did not see one person who was not wrinkled from the neck down.
Probably walking on canes and everything else.
Every last person I saw, and it was a sight to see, because if you watch the clip where Mitch McConnell's talking, you see Susan Collins and this other elderly person behind them, and it's kind of like, how are they? Look, they haven't been young since Elvis was on Ed Sullivan, okay? So what makes you think that they're going to relate and
probably
understand
still have the velvet tapestries? Aisha, have the velvet tapestries.
They haven't been young since Elvis. That's classic. That's classic.
But the truth is that a lot of them entered their senior citizen years in hell, Marvin Gaye was still on the radio when they were senior citizens for the first time.
I gotta do one of these to that line. Okay, let me catch up with some comments before. All right. Fitness IQ Cam. Hey. She says all is well. Also, she says, as she said, Boxside. What's going on here tonight? Let's see. And she is laughing, and we were wondering where she was. Hello, Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Thanks for dropping by yesterday morning.
You're good. We just did what our first conversation piece, so you're good.
You're good. Really, you came in just in time. So let's continue on. This was interesting. I didn't know anything about this. Top U.S. military officer Milley taking safety precautions after 45 alleges treason. So what we're going to do is I'm going to see if we can play this video. And I didn't know about this at all till Lala brought up like just before our conversation.
Yeah, I saw
so
it.
I'm going to see if I can play the video. So, all right. Video. Okay, I'm going to see if it comes up. I hope it does. I'm going to wish for the best. So here we go. Let's see if this comes out.
We are unique among the world's armies. We are unique among the world's militaries. We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Okay. So who do you think he was talking about? All right.
Oh, he didn't have to even say his name. We all know who he's talking about. Donald Trump makes sure that he puts people in danger.
Yeah.
Without saying, but although now lately, guys, he's actually saying it. He's calling for pretty much murder of people. Mm-hmm. This man is reckless. This gentleman who served our country and knows way more about our securities needs better respect than what Donald Trump has reduced him to in his later years, so that he can't even enjoy his retirement. This man knows that what he has done to him has put his family in danger. And you want to talk to somebody to me about treason? That's treasonous, because he's talking against our own military who protects us. And then let me tell you, not only that, Miley did admit when Trump did that stunt about walking over to the church and holding up this Bible, that if you ask me why God didn't just make that blow up, I have no idea. He doesn't even know what's in the Bible. He actually said and came out later and said that is not what he thought was going to happen. Right. And that is not what the military should be used for. And he spoke out against him. Now, when he did that, that made him enemy number 150,000 million trillion billion for Trump. Because if you do anything to devalue his name or disagree with him, you are now the lowest of the low, and you are now a target. You have these kooks out here who listen and hang on to every word that Trump says. And no matter who you are or how you serve this country, you are in danger. Donald Trump is disgusting. I hope that this gentleman gets to serve his retirement very well. Thank you, sir, for your service to our country. And thank you for speaking out the way that you did. Yeah. Because we don't have enough people who are doing that. He's not afraid of Trump, but he knows what Trump has done to his family.
Yeah. And if you missed it, when Lala was talking about the walk to the church, Donald Trump asked him to use the military to basically mow down Black Lives Matters protesters. So that's key. Donald Trump is the biggest pussy in the history of this country. It's like I have never met anyone so freaking weak. Okay, and he tries to be like, yeah, I'm tough. I'm this, when he did his thing with the military. Yeah, our military is locked and loaded, ready to go. And he never even served combat. When it came time for him to go to Vietnam, he claimed he had bone spurs and venereal disease. Okay? So this is why this man cannot be trusted. But he keeps talking. I wish that he would just shut the fuck up. It gets on my nerves.
Somebody could shut him up.
Shut up. I just want to do that every time I see him talk. I'm just like so aggravated because he knows these aren't dog whistles anymore. He's screaming it over the loudspeaker.
Loud and clear and very prominent in what he's telling people to do. He is a danger.
And he didn't just say it once. He said it that first day Millie was interviewed about it and how he felt about it. He went and did it again. He did it again yesterday.
Yes, and so he did.
All of this boils down to the fact that there's Jack Smith requested this gag order on Trump because of the language, because his language had somebody calling a death threat to the judge in his case.
That's right.
Because his language had his people doxing the grand jurors who go to indict him in Fulton County.
Exactly.
Okay. His words had people threatening to kidnap and kill and rape Alvin Bragg's daughter.
Yes.
This shit isn't funny anymore. It's not cute. It's not cute. And he needs to be stopped. And I hope that Judge Chutkan, I hope that she takes into account what Jack Smith put forward about the gag order, the limited gag order.
I think she will.
I do too, because Jack Smith had to go and amend it yesterday to include what he said about Miley.
Here's the thing.
When you are under indictment and you're involved in the criminal justice system, you don't have the same access to your First Amendment rights that everybody else does.
No, you do not. So why is he still allowed to run?
Why is he still here? That's what I want to know. Why is he still here?
In the depths of hell in a prison somewhere?
And I'm going to tell you something. You know what? I have a feeling that he slipped some poison in Melania Trump's drink, and not Melania, Ivana, before she died. Because when they asked Ivana, do you think Donald Trump should run again? She said, no, I think he needs to go home, play golf, and be with his grandkids. And then she died.
What did I just say? If you go against anything that he's going to do, then you are now public enemy number one.
Look, then she died, and she's buried on his golf course.
Which is so disrespectful.
He is so angering. And if I said this yesterday, I've said this many times on this show. If he wins, we will have deserved it.
Yeah.
Because this man, if he wins, he already laid out what he's going to do. He's
already told you what he's going to do.
He's going to start jailing people. He's going to take control of the FCC, get rid of all the other media networks except for Fox News. And then the next thing he's going to do, he's going to get rid of the term limits for president because he wants to be the dictator for the rest of his life. And I'm sorry, I don't like the fact that people in the media especially be like, oh, well, I'm not saying he's like Hitler, but no.
That's bullshit.
No.
Call it like you see it.
Exactly like Hitler.
This ain't nothing but the same playbook.
He's exactly like former slave owners. He's exactly like the worst of the worst. Stop trying to sugarcoat it. Just like saying his language was racially tinged. No, it wasn't racially tinged. It was racist. He is what he is. He's an evil monster, and he needs to be put down like a rabid dog.
Yes, he does.
All right. I just want to get in some comments here. April says, I'm watching the Elvis movie now.
Oh, April, if you're watching the Elvis movie, the woman that plays Big Mama Thornton, I went to Fisk with her. She was roommates with one of my friends.
Right.
And Sher Knight says, yet he's going about his daily life. Make it make sense. He should be locked up awaiting his multiple trials.
Let me tell you
Exactly.
something. Anyone else would do that. And we talked about this before we came on, but the thing with the gun, when he went to a gun show and taking pictures with a gun, that should have had him in prison.
It sure
And
should
then
have.
he had his people say, oh, because his little followers like, ooh, 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 did Trump buy a gun? And so he controls his own Truth Social. Nobody else does. And the response was, yes, the president bought a gun. His attorneys must have gotten to him, because when you're
They had
under
to take it
indictment
down
for
immediately. Yes.
you cannot get a gun.
No, you cannot. And
Look,
what are they? Hold on now.
This is the thing right now, okay? Why do you think they're going after Hunter Biden? Because he was
I was
under
Gary said
criminal
that's exactly what I was going to say.
for the
That
IRS,
goes
and that's
right
why
into
the
Hunter
gun charges.
Biden.
And then he turned around and did that. And the part that pisses me off more than anything about that, Democrats missed an opportunity.
Sure
They missed
did.
an
Hell, they
opportunity
miss a lot
because
right now.
they could have said, wait a second, y'all are trying to indict or get mad at Hunter Biden for this charge on the gun thing, but Donald Trump just said he went and did the same thing. And let me tell you, let's be clear. I said he was a pussy before. I mean it. He ain't have no gun. He isn't gonna buy no gun. Please, Donald Trump, please.
But there are photos of him holding it in the store. That was immediately out there. It's very obvious what he was doing. It's very obvious what he said. So my question is, why is he still walking around just like every other thing that he does? He gets away with everything, and his cronies thinks it's wonderful. They all drink the Kool-Aid. I need to know why things are not being done. And I, like Aisha, I'm really tired of my Democratic people. My Democrats up there are not doing a damn thing. I need you to do better. Now, a lot of these young people, the young ones that are in there, are slapping people back, and I'm absolutely loving every bit of it. But we need more like them.
Mm-hmm. And Jamie Harrison needs to step down because he's not doing his job. The job is to do the messaging. The saying goes that Republicans fall in line, Democrats have to fall in love. Well, you know what? You can make people fall in love with the right messaging. You need a communications person in the DNC chair spot.
Yes, you do.
Not someone who lost an election to Lindsey Graham. And dude, you lost an election to Lindsey Graham, the Keebler elf, the Lucky Charms leprechaun. Lindsey Graham walks around looking like he's magically delicious, and Jamie Harrison couldn't beat him.
Oh my gosh. Lucky Charms?
Yes.
They're magically delicious. All right. I think we move on to our next conversation.
Oh, and if you want to go check out my
Lucky.
Instagram so you can see the congressional doppelgangers, because I did do that.
I love it. That was so great, Aisha.
From Elvis to Lucky Charms. I'm telling you. All right. Who's got something to say here? April says, I think he buried documents with his ex.
No, he probably used them for toilet paper on that gold toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Why do you think he's got all the boxes in the bathroom, but there's no toilet paper there?
There you go.
I guess one more thing about 45.
Ha ha.
Pardon me. Loses delay his civil lawsuit trial. Another trial should be updates. Sorry about that.
And just so you know, he's not going for an actual trial. The judge looked at the evidence and said, you know what? I'm not going to put anybody through this. There's enough evidence here. Dude, you're guilty. What they're doing starting Monday, that phase of the quote unquote trial, is for sentencing and to determine the amount of money he will have to pay. But what I love about it is that the judge ordered the dissolution of all of Trump's businesses in the state of New York, which is like 95% of how he makes his money. Donald Trump or either of his sons cannot own a business or apply for a business license in New York for at least 5 years. And what was even better was that they exposed the fact that Donald Trump did not own Trump Tower. Someone else owns it. The people that have apartments there own their individual apartments. All he owns is the advertising space in it.
That's it. And
And
then
he's
what
listed as
took
a
the
manager,
cake, guys,
company manager.
is when they were taking down the signs.
Yeah.
Who was I one happy girl that day?
Yeah, but you know what though? Here's the other part of it is that look, these indictments for all these criminal charges don't faze Donald Trump, because you know the worst thing that could happen to him is what Tish James did. She basically got up there and said he's poor.
Yeah, that's
Poor.
it.
He treated that like it was a racial slur,
That
right?
was the worst thing for him, because he doesn't want his illusion to be broken. And
Yes.
now it's cracking. So his little snowball of perfectness now has a crack in it.
Yes. And it's really bizarre, because the three of us are sitting here, our audience is sitting there. Not one of us could get a loan from a bank for hundreds of millions of dollars by lying and saying
Baby, you can't even get a payday loan lying.
He used Trump Tower, which he does not own, as collateral for a $400 million bank loan that he then leveraged, okay, to get a loan with another bank, and said, hey, I got $400 million on retainer to guarantee this other loan. He's been robbing Peter to pay Paul
ever since
decades,
he's been in this game.
Decades. Who is able to use loans from one bank to guarantee a loan from another? That doesn't make sense, and it's not right. And Lala, you know this as someone who works in real estate. The checks that people have to go through with their finances, these banks should also be sanctioned for the fact that they literally just gave him money. They just gave him money. Why? Because his name was Donald Trump.
That's right. And not only that, guys, don't forget, he had a lot of government contracts.
Yeah.
Okay, this is federal.
Yeah.
So we haven't even seen the beginning of this.
Yeah,
what I did love this week is someone had nerve enough to do a meme and put Letitia's name on the Trump Towers. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But no, this is not, guys, this is not even the scratch of the surface of how much corruption is in this family and has been for years. And then someone disgustingly said, oh my God, all the work that his father did. You created this monster. I don't feel sorry for his legacy, because this is his legacy, corruption from day one.
All the work that his father did, from my knowledge, his father's only work was going to a 1927 Klan rally in New York City and then working with mob bosses. How do you think he got his money? He got his money as a bootlegger.
Yes.
He's no different than the Kennedy father.
Nope. I'm telling you. We don't even know. It's going to be years and decades making before all this is going to be covered, when we're going to be probably dead and gone by the time all this stuff is uncovered, and history will hopefully write it correctly, because right now things are so upside down that people have lost sight of what really matters is our country. And there, like I said, there were times in a long time ago where there was a time where I could agree with some of the Republicans on certain things, and I could agree with Democrats on certain things. You knew there was some type of bipartisanship there working for our country. It's been long gone. I don't agree with anything that's going on up there. And I'm also extremely disappointed in the Democrats. So we don't matter anymore. But it's all this ball of confusion, it's not going to be unraveled until we're gone.
But you know what, though? Here's my thing. I don't care if we're all dead and gone. If this man gets convicted, I believe with R. Kelly, you need to take that skeleton, put some handcuffs on it, and leave it in a jail cell anyway till the skeleton finishes the term. So people who walk by in the prison can be like, this will happen to you. Look, this is what you could end up as, even if you go to. I'm sorry.
Aisha, you say that in jest, but that actually happened. Do you understand? In history, they found like a corrupt pope that had died. They dug his bones up and put him on display as a corrupt person. I'm not too far behind you, sis, on that.
Yeah, I mean, Trump could get, with all these 91 counts, the total he gets is like close to 400 years. I'm gonna need for his corpse to sit and rot in a prison cell until the 400 years is up.
Yep, I agree.
And then maybe his great grandchildren can take the corpse and then bury it.
Maybe.
Right on the golf course in Mar-a-Lago next to Havana.
Okay. Let's move to our last conversation piece. It was mentioned a little bit before, but I think we'll go all in now. The Republicans struggle to provide proof of wrongdoing at Biden's impeachment inquiry.
Waste of time. When people dug into things and questioned the people who were called in, here's an example. If you missed it, you need to go and find it. AOC and many other reps were talking to them. Do this direct question. Do you, witness number one, have direct evidence of any corruption against the Biden family? No. Question number two, same thing, all the way down the line. No one could say they had direct proof of anything. And even, matter of fact, a lot of the time, some of them were kind of laughing because they knew that they have no case whatsoever, and why they were being called up here for this shenanigans was a farce. Yeah. And what they did is, instead of taking care of what they needed to take care of, which was our damn budget, they decided they was going to put this farce on when they knew darn well they had nothing at all. But this is not the first time, is it, Aisha? Because every time they come up with some, I got proof, and then mothballs.
Like your star witness is on the lam right now. Nobody knows where he is because he's trying to evade his own prosecution. But you know what, though? Jasmine Crockett from Texas, she gave us, she was on fire, but she asked this one question in her 5 minutes that really gets to the heart of this. What is the crime?
Exactly.
What is the crime that Biden is supposedly guilty of? And if you're talking about, well, he leveraged, if your excuse is that he leveraged his role as vice president to help his child make money, Donald Trump, one, tried to extort Ukraine. Two, put his son-in-law, who was so compromised to our enemies that they could not give him security clearance. So
but he gave it to him anyway.
Donald Trump had to write an executive order to get it for him. And then he put him in charge of foreign affairs, specifically with the Saudis. And Jared walks away with $2 billion. Right, he walks away with $2 billion from the Saudis. And they believe that he gave information to have Khashoggi murdered by his homeboy MBS or whatever his name is. So let's be very clear. If you're going to say that it's because he helped, you know what? Joe Biden's Joe Biden's like everybody's grandpa. I promise you. Hunter Biden may have not been above board, but he was probably like, you know what, to his business partners, I can put you on the phone with my dad.
Exactly.
Hey dad, say hi to this person. And Joe Biden, just being the nice person he is, hey, how are you doing? How's the weather? He did not have any idea or any clue. And if you're going to talk about people, and they went in this thing about him working for Burisma and not having the qualifications. If you're going to talk about people not having the qualifications to do their job,
look in their own backyard.
Ivanka and Jared had no qualifications. Donald Trump had no qualifications to be president. Most presidents held political office at some level before. His first time going into the foray of politics is to become president. And you're trying to tell me that Russia had nothing to do with that election? Come on. We have to be very, very clear about this. I said this since 2016. Donald Trump did not intend to win.
No, and he was shocked the shit that he did. He wasn't prepared for that.
His plan was to run to get profile and coverage so he could make money.
That's all. And then when he won, he didn't even know what the hell to do. He was shocked as just as anybody else.
I watched all 6 hours of the hearing, so you don't have to. And so basically what you missed is that at least 40 some odd times they kept saying if, if showing that they had no proof. When Democrats wanted to put certain things into the record, they would not let them. They objected. Democrats held their own. They followed the rules of decorum. But as Democrats were speaking in their 5 minutes, you had this bitch, Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these other people, Jim Jordan, like little chihuahua, all of them interrupting people. And Comer and his square head didn't hold them accountable for it. You know what Comer looks like? His head looks like, oh God, what is that? There's a cartoon on Nickelodeon that this guy is a like square head and a little body. He looks like a really bad video game character. His head's like the shape of a Rubik's cube, you know?
Yep.
But it's the lack of decorum being acceptable for some, and then continuing nothing. Their so-called witnesses were giving opinions. And Jonathan Turley is not an objective witness. He's a Fox News contributor. He's a far-right Republican. He's not a neutral person. And that woman with the white hair, laughing all the time, and all her reactions like she was shocked when the Democrats would call her out. It's like, girl, clutch your pearls all you want to. You have no proof. No proof. What we need to see are, look, if you go and you look up the 91 counts with Donald Trump and you read them all, and I suggest everyone does for all 4 indictments.
You should.
The evidence is there. And you want to know here's how you know this is all farce. The biggest piece of evidence is going to be dude that is going to testify against him because he flipped in Georgia. That's all the evidence you really need, is to have one member of a RICO conspiracy to come forward and say, the rest of them did it. I did too, but they did it too. And that's what's going to happen. There is no proof. Donald Trump was impeached twice for 1, extorting Ukraine, 2, inciting a riot and insurrection. The problem is that the Senate, which was Republican controlled Senate, did not have the balls to convict him. They had 2 opportunities to do it, and they did not have the balls to convict him. And if they had convicted him, he wouldn't be able to run right now. And whenever that man says, oh, it's election interference, no, they were doing this stuff before.
Long before.
You announced an election in the middle of their investigation. So who's interfering really with what? You're interfering with the criminal cases against you by running. And I'm sorry, running for office is not a shield from responsibility from crimes. You can't. Menendez, look what happened with Menendez in New Jersey. Democrats are like, he got to go. Dude's got to go. Because
and you call him out like you see him. I don't care what side of the line you're on. Corruption is fucking corruption. You've got to go. Just like the people in freaking Clarence Thomas. You have to go. You have to go. When you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't care what party line you're on. I'm going to call you out, and you don't need to be in a position of power in our country. No. You're a disgrace. No. Remember when it used to be a disgrace to do something that was corrupt in this country? Because that has gone out the window.
Right. And you want to talk about oversight. Congress, one of your biggest jobs is oversight over the money that comes in and out of this country. When the president of the United States takes a government contract while he's president, and he decides, oh, I'm going to go home to my little hotel and whatever. Secret Service has to follow the president wherever. But he charged the federal government for rooms and food for his Secret Service. He made money off of his own protection. He made money off of it. And to the tune of almost $2 million. Okay? and then this man doesn't pay taxes on anything.
On
Remember
nothing.
how? Remember
And
how? he
remember
said
how
he's-
that all of a sudden went to the wind? What happened to that bullshit that was out that never got called out on?
Mhm.
What was it, $700?
Yeah, and remember he said that he was going to donate his presidential salary. He only donated 10% of it. He's a greedy, greedy, greedy bastard, and he needs to be, again, put down. Whether it be like bound up and tied with a muzzle on his mouth or something. But the Republicans did this to all of us because their reason, not their reason, their way of handling Donald Trump was to say that Democrats will handle it. Let's let Democrats handle him. No,
Yeah.
It's your own party. You all
Yep.
need to handle him. You all need to tell him, you know what? No. And this is the reason why we've escalated to the level of violence that we had. Because before he even got to this point, you know the worst thing he was doing to people? He was going on Twitter and calling them names like pencil neck Schiff. Okay.
Right.
He was calling people names. And so these people were so fearful of being called a name. I'm like, did you not go to elementary school? People tease you and call you names all the time. Get a backbone. Get a backbone. But all he did was want to call people names. When the names were not doing the job, he went to violence.
Yes,
and
did.
He's going to sit here and try and be like, my hands are clean. But it's going to take the right attorney.
Which I think we do have some right ones.
Yeah, but like something is going to happen. Someone's going to get hurt. And it's going to have to take the right attorney to indict him for conspiracy to commit murder.
But here's the thing, though, Aisha, people were hurt on January 6th.
Yeah.
So I can't even get behind that and say people are going to have to get hurt because people were hurt.
You know, let me tell you something. If I'm driving my friend to a house, they're like, oh, I need to go to this house. Give me a ride here. I'm just going to go in for a minute. I'll be right back. And they go in and they rob the people in the house and they kill the people in the house.
Yeah.
All that you did was offer them a ride because you didn't know what was going to happen.
That's right.
You will be charged for first degree murder.
You will still be charged. Yes.
So I don't understand how come these people are getting charged, especially the woman who's getting charged with chucking and threatening her while Donald Trump's not in that indictment.
I think that is it. All right, everybody. Another low-spirited conversation on state of things.
We gotta do better. We gotta do better.
We gotta do better for Lala's Facebook audience. You know. All right. Well, as always, want to thank both these wonderful ladies and Ms. Jill. She's here, even though she don't see on the screen, for their taking the time to share with us this evening. And as always, we'd like them to share their contact information. So maybe I'll get it right this time. We're going to start with Lala Key. I'm just made it easy now. I just made it Realty Goddess.
Yeah, because that's where you're going to find me, guys, everywhere. I love social media. So type in that name. You're going to find me on all my platforms.
Absolutely. And next up, Aisha K. Staggers. That's the best one, I think.
Instagram or our Discord channel.
Thank you.
Join the conversation.
Thank you. All right. And for myself, you can get a hold of me on my website, thedrvibeshow.com. Email dr.vibeshow@thedrvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. X at drvibeshow. And Instagram at the drvibeshow. You can catch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and also on the website. So that is it. That is all for another epic conversation. And want to thank everyone who watched live or watch on the replay. And as always, some few final notes we like to put up here. So subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified. Tell people about, especially this conversation, and like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Always join the Discord group. It's where it's happening. Sher Knight, I'm going to be sending your invite before I go to bed tonight via Instagram, and also send Aisha your email so you have your email addresses. And then finally, to advertise your business, product, or service on the show or any of the conversations I host, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And we have some final messages, so let's make sure we get to this. Divine Wright says it's a huge waste of time when they need to concentrate on the budget. It's disgusting what's been happening. And Divine Wright, you said something earlier, and I want to share it. Oh, I don't know if I remember it. I don't think I remember it. Okay, I don't think, and I should have highlighted it, but I didn't highlight it. So my bad. Okay. Jen says, great conversation as always. And Divine Right says, my sorority sister's daughter is a police officer and had to work the night shift on January 6th until the next morning. It was a frightening time. Yo, wow. Oh, and Divine Right says, I had to explain to my son at that time what was happening. That must have been a very interesting conversation. All right. So, as always, we end off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We will see you next week. Oh, there is another comment here. I'll be the nice person. Just kick it in. Oh, Aisha is commenting. Yes, Divine Red to connect with me on this. Yes, so Discord. So Divine Right, message me via Instagram if you want to be part of the Discord group. I'm looking forward to having more people join the Discord group. We have lots of fun there. So God bless, peace, well, keep the faith and walk good, and have a great week.